A concerto usually has 3 movements: a beginning, middle, and end that tell a story. Greg Foltz mastered playing them as a trained concert pianist in the first movement of his own story.
When I was a musician, I had the world at my doorstep, so to speak. I played all over.
But on the cusp of a professional career, he quit to become a different kind of perfectionist, a brain surgeon.
I think they're actually quite similar. So what do we have here?
Dr. Greg Foltz heads up the Ivy Center Research Lab at the Swedish Neuroscience Institute.
Yeah, looks good. Yeah, that's fine.
Devoted to curing brain cancer, a job he never dreamed of growing up. From the time he was 8, Greg just wanted to play. He was a presidential scholar studying with a famous teacher, headlining concerts with plans of going to Juilliard. But life had other plans.
And I think anyone who has seen how this disease affects someone is changed forever. That was the case with me.
When Greg was 24, his close friend was diagnosed with brain cancer. She died a year later. Her own father was a neurologist and couldn't save her. It's still hard to talk about.
And I asked him why, in the 20th century, with all the miracles of modern medicine, he couldn't do anything. And he said the problem is that nobody has focused on this disease. All of a sudden, what I was doing in music, which had seemed so wonderful just a week before, just didn't seem that important.
And so the second movement of Greg's life began. The 10 hours a day he'd spent practicing Beethoven were devoted to biology. A year later, he took the medical school exam and passed with flying colors.
A lot of what I did in piano prepared me for this. Certainly the ability to concentrate for many hours, the insistence on perfection.
20 years later, he's one of the country's leading brain cancer researchers, an advocate for a disease that was once largely ignored because it affects fewer people than other cancers. But Dr. Foltz doesn't think of patients as numbers.
She was really not of this world.
They have names, like Laura, a college student.
In fact, it was on her 21st birthday that she got that diagnosis.
Laura's tumor was inoperable. She had enough time to graduate and be with her family before dying at age 23.
Really, as a parent who's lost a child to brain cancer, there is no moving on. It's always a part of your life. What are you going to do with that, though, now?
It's a question Dr. Foltz doesn't want any parent to ask.
As tragic as this is, we can't just put it aside and ignore it and shut it off somewhere and say, oh, that's too bad. We have to let it empower us so that we can reach out and do something.
The third movement of the Greg Foltz story is still unwritten, but every day he practices for what it could be, a cure and a chance to come full circle.
If we can get this solved, then I'm going to go right back to music. It's what I really love to do in my spare time, and there's so much music yet to be played in my life that I would look forward to that. But I won't until we get this solved.